Hello Uganda and beyond. Welcome to UBC Lunchtime News on this first day of October 2025. I am Brian Tumwine Biaruhanga. The Minister of Local Government, Raphael Magezi, has commissioned a road grader procured by Arua City Council at a cost of 1.2 billion shillings. The machine, fully funded from local revenue collections in the last financial year, being hailed as a milestone in strengthening service delivery and demonstrating accountability for the taxpayers. Now, leaders in the city are now urging residents to continue supporting revenue collection, noting that the investment underscores the importance of protecting and properly utilizing local taxes. Since attaining city status in 2020, Arua has struggled with poor road maintenance due to the absence of road equipment, leaving most road connections in a deplorable state. Now, the grader is therefore expected to significantly improve roadworks and ease transport within the city. Take a watch.
I'm glad that I come back when you have moved from 1.2 billion to 6.7 billion shillings in revenue. You have purchased this grader using your own local revenue. This achievement is more than just the acquisition of a machine. It is a testament, the proof of the power of the community effort, of accountability, of a shared responsibility. And I want to encourage the citizens of Arua City, make sure that with this grader, the city council opens your roads, all of them. They were borrowing, and the government is giving them 1 billion shillings for their roads. Use it for fuel, make sure that this grader does not lie idle.
On a special way, that sisterhood, I want to thank Terego, I want to thank District of Bongi and our District of Arua for the support they have been giving us when we are beggars. Now that we have the grader, Mr. Minister, sir, we purchased this grader at 1.2 billion. It is a Caterpillar brand.
We have always articulated this issue on the floor of Parliament that we need equipment to operationalize roadworks in the cities. And I want to tell my people here, this financial year, the minister put a budget to buy road equipment for all the 10 cities. I want to thank you so much, Honorable Minister.
So with this machine, there's a lot that we have achieved. Having therefore mentioned this, Honorable Minister, and this is a special appeal. Honorable Minister, our taxpayers are suffocating, and many of them have been laid out of the business. How I wish in this country, we carefully look into who should produce, who should distribute, who should do wholesale, and who should do retail sale. If I come to Uganda and introduce myself as an investor or a producer, must I go and open a small kiosk in a village and start selling popcorn?
Minister Raphael Magezi there commissioning a grader for Arua City. This year's government job applicants are full of praise for the Public Service Commission, describing the entire recruitment exercise as well supervised, transparent and free from corruption, all outside influence. The interviews were conducted at Mandela National Stadium, Nambole, where over 43,000 Ugandans turned up to compete for only 277 government vacancies. Let's take a look.
Between September the 16th and 26th, 20,458 candidates seeking for government jobs sat for the computer-based aptitude tests. From these, 1,662 qualified to proceed to oral interviews on a strict 1:6 ratio. Many candidates said they were especially grateful that for once the process gives them confidence that appointments will be made on merit, not connections.
I want to say the process was very organized, very quick, and there was good time management. Immediately you arrive at the time that was given to you on your card. It's the time you actually start. Yes.
The impression was good. They took us through everything. So by the time we entered the examination room, we were prepared. We started doing the exams just because the time was not enough. But from my side, I was prepared. So I did a few questions, but the few questions I did, I think if I had enough time, I would have passed.
The system is very organized. You cannot do overforge, do what? The system is very actual. I have liked it.
That's like everything, like if your tablet is low, you have the invigilator to help you out. If you're having issues, you can call out the invigilator.
Final appointments will be announced once the oral interviews conclude, with successful candidates expected to take up positions in ministries, departments and agencies.
I'd like to inform the nation that by the mid of November we should have, once we do oral interviews, we get the best candidates and then we appoint them and we send those minutes to the ministry. So by mid of November we should have finished this exercise and informed the ministries of the successful candidates in form of minutes signed by myself and the chair of the commission.
Head of Public Service and Secretary to the Cabinet, Lucy Nachobe, inspected the process midway, stressing government's determination to ensure efficiency, fairness and professionalism. She reminded candidates that public service is a calling to serve, not a shortcut to luxury.
I want to tell you that joining the service is both a privilege and a responsibility. As new officers, if you pass, you will be expected to uphold integrity, ethical conduct and professionalism at all times. You will be expected to serve the citizens efficiently, impartially and respectively, ensuring that government programs reach those who need them most.
Nachobe also warned against the habit of new recruits forming pressure groups for salary increases soon after joining, saying such actions destabilize service delivery. Instead, she urged applicants to be patient, uphold integrity, and trust that merit will guide all appointments. The Public Service Commission chairperson Winnie Kabogoza Musoke reaffirmed that the recruitment drive, which attracted applicants from across Uganda, is strictly merit-based and transparent.
Public service is the highest organ in any government or state. Therefore, you should be able to emulate what it stands for and its values and everything. So, yes, they have to abide by that.
The Commission's Secretary, Dr. John Mbabazi, explained that the process involves aptitude tests, oral interviews and background checks before deployment.
They should have confidence, because when the Commission is handling oral interviews, it's not the members of our Commission alone who interview candidates. If, for example, we are interviewing accountants, we call from the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Finance for what we call technical representatives, people who are knowledgeable in that area.
Indeed, knowledgeable in that area. Now, resident district commissioners and security officers from the Rwenzori sub-region have been urged to step up efforts in safeguarding peace and service delivery as Uganda prepares for the 2026 general elections. The call was made by the Secretary in the Office of the President, Haj Yunus Kakande, while opening a 3-day retreat for security officers in Fort Portal City. Take a watch.
The workshop has brought together RDCs, RCCs, their deputies, DSOs and RESOs for training and coordination with a focus on strengthening government visibility at the grassroots and preparing commissioners for Uganda's next phase of socio-economic transformation. Haji Kakande reminded participants that they are the face and voice of government in their respective districts, with a duty to ensure that programs are effectively implemented.
As the representative of the president at the district, regional levels, your core responsibility is to ensure effective oversight of government programs and projects, which my brother was talking to you about here. Your first line of accountability, ensuring the public resources are used transparently and the services reach the intended beneficiaries, especially at the grassroots level. Your duty includes being proactive, identification of implementation gaps, ensuring corrective measures are taken promptly, and submitting actual timely and actionable reports that inform national level decision making.
He highlighted flagship initiatives such as the Parish Development Model, EMIOGA, and the Youth Livelihood Program, urging RDCs to emphasize inclusivity, transparency, and mobilization, particularly among the youth.
You must work with local government leaders, in structures, religious leaders, cultural institutions, and good enough you people here. You have different traditions. You have the Mukama here, you have the Musiga, the Kasese, and you have Mundingia, so work with them, because they also have followings. Work with them, so that they can help you also to mobilize, because there are certain people who believe into them, who follow them.
Chenjojo RDC, Ayesiga Julian, and Fort Portal Deputy RCC, Emmanuel Businge, pledged to promote peace, mobilize communities, and act promptly on intelligence reports as the country heads towards the elections.
By the time someone is appointed by the president, it means that person is purely up to task. So we've been able to learn a lot from this, and teamwork, mobilization, security issues, they are really important topics for us.
This one specifically is very important because it comes at a time when we are heading into a critical moment. The electoral process is around the corner, and what we are talking about is the gains, protecting the gains, and that's exactly what we've been talking about, because what we've been monitoring is what we are going to talk about, what we are going to tell the public about, and therefore it was very important for the office of the president to retool us.
Major Martha Asimwe, the head of the RDC Secretariat, challenges the commissioners to serve as foot soldiers of the NRM government, guided by discipline and mobilization to safeguard the gains achieved under President Museveni's leadership.
We bring on board love. We don't bring money. Someone having served you for 40 years, we want to check the population. Is there love that we created? Was there bond that we created? Was there difference that was created during our 40 years, so that this season we ensure that we vote His Excellency the President of the Republic of Uganda, YK Museveni, Sabalwan, Samalungu, YK, with equivalent percentage of his age and what he has done for this country. Western region,
I beg your pardon. The Ministry of Health has flagged off the final phase of the nationwide yellow fever preventive mass vaccination campaign, targeting the remaining 17 districts across Greater Mubende and the Busoga sub-region in eastern Uganda. The campaign, launched in Iganga district, will run until October 6, 2026, with an ambitious target of immunizing at least 5 million people. Let's take a look.
Spread by a mosquito. The disease usually gives us symptoms that are similar to the ones that the common disease of malaria gives us, except that sometimes the disease causes the liver to be affected.
As of today, over 26 million Ugandans have been protected against the yellow fever disease. And once we complete this phase, it will come to about over 31 million Ugandans. That's a remarkable achievement. And they are going to receive a life-saving yellow fever vaccine. The threat of yellow fever epidemics continues to affect a number of African countries. It should be noted that, as one of the previous speakers has spoken, that 27 African countries, including Uganda and also our neighbor in South Sudan, have been classified as being at high risk of the yellow fever.
This launch today is now the final launch for us, where we are targeting adult population with the yellow fever vaccines. This is the last lap. From now on, we will only receive yellow fever vaccines through routine immunization of children. So the vaccine is now part of our routine immunization program, so that by the time a child reaches 9 months, by the time he's getting measles vaccine, he will also get yellow fever vaccine. It's a national event launching the phase 3B vaccination program for yellow fever for the remaining 17. So in this phase, we aim to vaccinate 5 million people. 5 million people will be vaccinated. We have started today, and we will end it on 6th of October. So in this period, we expect that the people will be vaccinated both in health facilities where it is static. So if your home is near a health facility, walk in there in these districts. If it is very far from a facility, the health workers are going to move in those designated areas in communities. The village health teams will mobilize people so that the health workers' time is not wasted, the community's time is not wasted.
Now let's cross over to nutrition. Stakeholders are urging government to scale up funding for food systems, warning that chronic malnutrition remains one of Uganda's biggest public health threats. Let's take a look.
The government of Uganda spends over 1.8 trillion shillings on chronic malnutrition-related diseases annually. The Deputy Ambassador of the Netherlands, Bowijans Medink, urged both government and the public sector to invest in food processing.
It's our biggest pillar on which we work. And we believe that an investment in food and nutrition security is an investment in national security and stability. And if we strengthen availability of
we would like to call upon all partners here to scale the implementation of the nutrition handbook that we work together with Ministry of Local Government. Once we scale this, there's a potential to impact 17 million Ugandans through utilization of this tool.
He emphasized a strong private sector engagement to make nutritious products and services more accessible and affordable.
The policies are very aligned to what is on the ground in terms of, like Karamoja, you have to deal with the fact that there is drought in that place. So if you're talking about vegetable production, for example, you need to make sure that you have initiatives that support irrigation, and government has some of those initiatives. But I think the challenge is, how can the local government, who is in Moroto or Kotido or Napak, have the resources to continuously support those community-based farmers groups who are innovating and starting to grow vegetables using irrigation, using part of the water from the dams.
So whilst there is a bigger financial constraint globally, even locally, we are saying how can we use the current resources we have to make sure that we can leverage each other. So if the private sector is investing in adding value to food and nutrition, how is the government ensuring that the current policies in place are enabling that? And how do we work together? Then if the development factors are also present, how is their current funding also catalyzing the entire environment?
The Cascade project, which started in 2022, will close in 2026. Irene Faith Nantongo, Adia Nakuti, UBC News.
Thank you, Irene and Nakuti, for that. Kibale District Environmental Department, in partnership with the National Forest Authority and the Worldwide Fund for Nature, has held belated World Environment Day celebrations with activities focused on restoring depleted wetlands and wildlife. Let's take a look.
The Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Matia Kasaija, has praised students for their creative waste management efforts. The woman member of Parliament for Chibale District, Nowelineba Semena Chisembo, represented Finance Minister Matia Kasaija. She commended St. Mugaga Vocational Secondary School in Greater Chibale for its environment management and conservation actions.
Everyone, on all members of our community, to protect the environment, so that as we enjoy the environment today, we also take the responsibility to preserve the same for the future generation to enjoy the same. Otherwise, we infringe on their rights, those who will come tomorrow, to enjoy what we are enjoying today if we destroy it now.
Catherine Kashamiri Chaligonza, Chibale District Environment and Natural Resource Officer, thanked NGOs, NFA and WWF for restoring over 500 hectares of the Kangombe Central Forest Reserve through sensitization and tree planting campaigns.
It has been earmarked by various radio programs. Around 4 radio programs have been put on our local radio, KDR, or aimed at sensitizing community about plastic management.
The Budongo Systems Range Manager and Daniel Businge, Senior Environmental Officer at the Ministry of Environment, led a tree planting drive to restore reclaimed wetlands and forest reserves, urging residents to avoid encroaching on gazetted areas.
And the work was really well done. And these very people who have done this work are the very people who were in the forest, who degraded it. They saw the forest when it was really fully stocked, in full integrity. They saw it reducing, they have seen it when it is no more, and now they want to see it when it is again recovering.
We should respect the activity we are doing, because we are doing it for the benefit of all of us, for our country, for the present and future generations.
This year's World Environment Day theme was United Against Plastic Pollution. Chibale's forest recovery stands at 82%, while wetland recovery is at 60%, thanks to sustained campaigns and community sensitization programs. Crispus Arinitwe, UBC News.
Thank you, Crispus, for that. The Uganda Nurses and Midwives Union has partnered with True Merit, a US-based non-profit, to train and connect Ugandan nurses to international employment opportunities. Now, the acting head of external employment at the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, Hilary Tarema, says government is working more to sign bilateral agreements with different countries to minimize exploitations of Ugandans seeking jobs abroad. Adia Nakuti brings us to speed.
Ugandan nurses and midwives will now have access to jobs abroad following a partnership between the Uganda Nurses and Midwives Union and True Merit. True Merit specializes in credential evaluation, verification, and certification of foreign healthcare professionals.
This is an opportunity for True Merit to partner and support Ugandan nurses in their career development and opportunities for mobility, not only within their own country, outside of their country, across Africa, and of course other countries around the globe.
Having our labor as student nurse, as nurses who have completed school to outside the country, especially in USA. So we appreciate it is a good initiative that will answer a question of a student nurse who says, after school, where am I heading?
The Ugandans who are going out to these Middle East countries are largely the skilled, the semi-skilled and non-skilled labor. And then the skilled, which goes to other parts of the world, Europe, America, and so on, you find that most of that movement is actually not documented. It's hard to get those statistics, and also most of those people also do not go through the ministry, the systems the ministry has put.
Meanwhile, the Uganda Nurses and Midwives Council has urged that key institutions like Ministry of Health and Public Service be fully involved.
Because why am I interested in that? As we try to look for markets for the nurses and midwives from Uganda, we have to also advocate for their employment here at home. Because the structure we have now has just been reviewed and many slots of graduate nurses have been opened. So we need to balance the board. We look at how can we retain some of them and how can we export others.
With unemployment biting harder, the partnership between the Uganda Nurses and Midwives Union and True Merit could open new doors for Ugandan healthcare professionals abroad.
Thank you, Nakuti, for that. Now, that story from Nakuti takes UBC Lunchtime News into a break, but we shall do return with business.
Vandalism is an offense punishable by up to 10 years in jail.
Jesus Alive Church brings you Sise Emeget Okelo live in I Wanna Praise You concert. I wanna praise you, my Lord. On Sunday, 5th October 2025 at Imperial Royal Hotel, Kampala. Come, let's enjoy in Christ as Sise Emeget Okelo unleashes the gospel vibes. Entrance is 50K, VIP 100,000, silver table 2 million, gold table 3 million, platinum 5 million. Sise Emeget Okelo is accompanied by Afande Johnson, Pisi Mbabazi, Pastor Sarah Serumaga, Apostle Jonathan Babara, Yuwen Nabasa, Pastor Tina Habat, and many more. Gates open at 4 p.m.
Here's your
chance to win school fees for your child for a whole year. Just pay school fees using Momo.
Hi, Mango Senior School. We are here to reward one of our winners that paid school fees with Momo, and they got themselves school fees for a whole year.
The winner is my little sister. We loaded the money on my line. We did a payment. So basically that's the story behind as to why it's me and then mom. It's such a relief for any parent, because you imagine sitting at the back and knowing the child is going to do school for a full year. You're not worried about anything whatsoever. So I'm excited. Thank you, MTN.
This is continuous, so please, I call upon everyone to continue paying school fees with Momo. Dial *165 *80 hash and pay school fees with Momo and stand a chance to win school fees for a whole year.
Welcome back from that commercial break. UBC Lunchtime News continues with business. Civil society organizations operating in the Karamoja sub-region are calling on government to step up its commitment in addressing the persistent challenges affecting the area. The group emphasizes the need for increased funding in the key sectors such as health and education. Now they are equally urging government to strengthen accountability mechanisms to curb the mismanagement and misappropriation of public funds. Now, a practice they say continues to undermine the development efforts in Karamoja. Let's take a look.
Financial year 2026-2027, the year of equity, by increasing budget allocations to Karamoja sub-region in line with its disproportionate poverty and service delivery needs. We also request that government within this budget ring-fences resources that are tailored to education, health, women and youth programs for Karamoja sub-regions. We also call upon government enhance gender-responsive and youth-inclusive budgeting to ensure that the issues of women that colleagues talked about and youth in service delivery, employment are adequately addressed. We also call upon the central government and the local governments to strengthen accountability mechanisms to ensure that every shilling that the government releases benefits the people. And on this note, we request that the local governments can enhance participation opportunities for women, opportunities for young people in the governance of their communities.
The State Minister for Minerals, Fiona Nyamutoro, has expressed optimism over the growing interest of foreign experts in Uganda's mineral exploration sector. Now, Nyamutoro says the increasing collaboration will not only help standardize mineral exploration practices, but also strengthen Uganda's economy through transparent and sustainable exploitation of resources. Let's take a look.
The Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development has partnered with geological survey companies from several European countries to raise standards in exploration and exploitation. The cooperation is expected to streamline the licensing of mining companies, ensuring efficiency and accountability.
My emphasis is on following the formalities of the business. Please ensure that you go through the ministry so that our staff, our entire processes can help be guided by us. And all the investors that have gone through the ministry, I'm certain, have no regrets. The mineral, the law is in place. It was instituted by the president himself. Exports of any raw form is banned. And we encourage Ugandans to add value here so that we can benefit from the entire mineral value chain.
The Minister of State for Energy and Mineral Development, Fiona Nyamutoro, pledged government's support to foreign investors who are ready to inject resources transparently into Uganda's mining sector.
Geological survey of Slovenia and the European Union and a consortium of other European partners in saying that they are investing in further exploration and quantification of our minerals. So they've been working hand in hand with our geological survey team here at the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development to see how best they can make a proper assessment of our critical minerals.
So at the end of our expectation as the country, we look at more data collected with this program. We look at institutional capacity strengthened in terms of equipment and human resource.
Experts from these European countries will help Uganda add value to its minerals, reducing the exportation of raw materials in favor of processing and refining within the country.
How to explore the potential of Uganda's mineral wealth. We all know that Uganda has tremendous wealth in its minerals. We know that there's a good export of gold, there's iron ore, but there's also these critical raw materials which will be so important for the green transition, not only here in Uganda but elsewhere. So we think there's a great potential for Europe and Uganda to work together on this.
Through the Department of Geological Survey, the partnership is set to guarantee reliable, transparent and accessible mineral exploration data, an important step for sustainable resource governance.
Thank you, Daniel Mugoya, for that. Now, UBC Lunchtime News has come to the very end. And please do follow us on all our social media platforms, and also do take your time and follow us later on for our other subsequent bulletins. That is UBC Rero, Habari, then UBC Tonight, both at 8 and 10. Meanwhile, President Museveni will be in Lango sub-region with rallies in Amolata and Dokolo district, and UBC will be laying live all those images for you on air. Thank you for watching. Have a lovely afternoon. I am Brian Tumwine Biaruhanga.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
In just over a decade, the smartphone has moved from being a luxury in a few hands to becoming the heartbeat of modern business. From the farmer in the village tracking market prices, to factories streamlining production, to transporters navigating roads in real time. This small device has quietly transformed the way we work, trade and live. In the fields of Uganda, farmers no longer wait for middlemen or rumors. With a single swipe, they check weather updates, market prices, and connect with buyers directly. Smartphones have become new farm tools, boosting yields and profits. In this first part of our series, Henry Okurut explores how technology is sowing fresh hope in agriculture.
For Uganda's farmers, the smartphone has replaced the note spot, the market bell, and even the village bank. But the price of a phone still keeps many locked out.
We are making sure that farmers get information, not only extension information, but also market information. And we have established a database which we continue to improve. And what we want to achieve is to make sure that every farmer accesses information in real time.
We use ICT for digitize to profile them, to take their GPS coordinates, and this we are able to produce a geographical location of our members.
Banana and coffee farmer Asfa Mugizi calls the smartphone the modern marketplace, where farmers, traders, and buyers meet.
Smartphones zikija utatanje tukasta zine konkatu zine okuchira mnonga tuzikozesa obwire bwona okuchira mnonga wanu onda kumanya ebeyi obonda bahinjisa kwenda ngu ogambe nawe akuhoreza ate nkomwana ogu kukufutunga mukoburemeze kuchira mnonga kama papaha kukosa smartphone kugira ngo omwereke okuguri akumanyise endwara niya nare cyakwasa kuyamba
smartphone cyo kunyamba cyo kubanza ninje barsebe baro umuntu asya n'umushohoza icya kabiri ni coordinating n'abahinje bagenzi banje mu WhatsApp group.
Farm organization having a toll-free number would help in getting, for example, cheaper calls for farmers, so they can be able to be advised timely in case of any outbreak. They can easily report.
Nursery operator Doreen Namanya, an agronomist, sells banana seedlings entirely on Facebook.
We sometimes take pictures and send on WhatsApp, we send on Facebook, and we send to other clients because we have a network of farmers and nursery operators.
This is not where it ends. She also markets farm chemicals online.
The network. You take pictures of the products you have, you put on different platforms. A client sees the product on the phone or through social media or these platforms we create. He presses an order, we send the product on either taxi or bus or border, and then this person pays on mobile money.
For banana trader Ephraim Turiakura, he links village farmers to city buyers with a single phone call.
Esimu ne nyamba abintu bingi na munonga nka business yanje y'ebitoke ne nyamba nabo nkubanda Kampala kubasa kurayininga ebitoke ndo connectinga n'abahinjo mu cyaro kana nkashanga ebitoke babimbiki.
From weather forecasts to market prices, from mobile payments to extension advice, the phone is now the farmer's lifeline.
Simu yanje nenyamba okutera abantu bo mu kyalo ngafuna emmere kandi nkatera n'aba Kampala nkamanya emirimo yo kutambula.
Hati katwa twine kaka app ko kumanya ngu hati wabana obyare ebihimba hato kamanya nko meza gar kwija ashatu tine kiriyo to kubeno obyara ko nkati tubyire ebihimba omeza gatwasta bwine njira hawo nke sandi biro misho tuba twakirga mu icyo bihimba ibi.
Ngone MTN ke kozire ibintu by'amanu munonga atkabentisha bitu nka association rate ya mbadifa bateze nk'amasomo ago tugahereza abantu kibatera umuhimbo kugira ngo bakorangane na government ohereza bwa bugende byo misho.
Uganda's digital revolution begins here in the farmer's palm. Phones must be as affordable as a hoe, and networks as steady as the rain. Only then will farming and Uganda grow. Henry Okrut, UBC.